Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, and as Jesse's voice said, welcome to the show. Liv Moods here, hosting from my home studio. Because as per usual, Guerilla Sports has a lot of exciting things happening. We've got our studio being used by a lot of cool and talented people. We've got cool shows happening today. If you were wondering, we've got obviously the Daily with Liv Moods. Happy Friday. We also are going live at 11. If you missed, we've also had a Dumb Jock episode. Those are always happening, by the way. Always have Dumb Jock episodes going live. If you haven't checked out that show, please do. Nate Jackson has special guests on to talk about the world of football, the X's and O's, the experiences that these people have as they immerse themselves in the world of football. Really, really great content there with Nate Jackson. Nate Jackson, BK, and myself should be going live here at 11 a.m. Mountain Time to discuss all things Thursday Night Football. There's a lot to talk about there. We'll also be previewing the CU-CSU Rocky Mountain Showdown. Very excited about that one. We'll look a little bit at the NFL Sunday slate. And of course, we will preview Denver versus Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson has come down with a case of the chicken syndrome. He will not be playing in Denver. You know, I was really hoping he would, but it reminds me very similarly of Joel Embiid, who is petrified to play here. I get it. Denver fans, I really don't think we're all that scary, but, you know, he didn't have a great time here. I know he is injured. I don't want to make light of an injury, but is some of this chicken syndrome? Probably. So we'll talk about that. We'll preview that at 11, and then we've got more shows, actually, at 1 to 1:30 maybe. There's a schedule that's out there, you guys. 1 to 1:30 we've got our Off Ice show. We've got Megan Angley, we've got Jesse. You guys know Jesse, he's a rock star, and JJ as well. They're going to break down all things. I believe Jesse was actually out and about at some abs events yesterday, so I'm sure they're going to have a lot of really great stuff to talk about. So make sure you're tuning into All Things Guerrilla Sports as per usual. We're on socials, we're on YouTube. You can find us everywhere. We're doing all sorts of stuff today specifically, so make sure you're tuning in. But let's get right into the daily update. First and foremost, like I said, Thursday Night Football, we will discuss at 11 on the off-field show with Nate Jackson and BK. So lots to discuss there, and I get it. But have to kind of point out this little funny thing, considering we will at 11 be also breaking down the CU-CSU game. We've got a little bit of funny things happening over there. A truck ended up on the football field. We can discuss that in the next show on Off Field with Nate and BK. I saw some pretty funny comments about the defense not being able to stop anybody, including a truck. I don't know how the truck even made it to the football field at Folsom Field, but they did. So I'm sure CU's been dealing with that, but nonetheless, they've got a pretty big game ahead of them tomorrow. Thursday Night Football. However, like I said, we'll dive deeper into obviously Tua's injury, what the Miami Dolphins looked like before he was even injured, as well as the Bills looking not too bad in that AFC East showdown. But Thursday Night Football is back on Amazon and will feature more AI technology. Don't you guys feel like every time I do one of these Guerrilla Sports dailies, I am constantly talking about AI? The robots are taking over. I've said this before. This will include expanded defensive alerts, defensive vulnerability, as well as coverage ID. Does it sound like a foreign language? Most certainly it does. It feels like one as well. But this is kind of a good example here. This graphic kind of showing you a little bit of what this AI simulation type things will really, it's just going to make it easier to watch, easier to follow, especially if, you know, you're a visual learner or you're a visual person. They're just going to add the bells and whistles, but the robots, like I said, are taking over. We've got some more NIL conversations. Another thing that I feel like I talk about a lot. But this one's kind of a sweet story. Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard has signed an NIL deal with Dick's Sporting Goods. Now you're like, well, cool. He just got more money. What does that have to do with me? Why do I care? Well, Leonard chose to share this deal with his linemen, spreading the NIL fees and gift cards to the men who protect him every week. He's already thinking like an NFL quarterback. You watch these quarterbacks gift their linemen really cool and awesome gifts when it comes to Christmas time. We've already got Riley Leonard in NFL mode. He's taking care of his people because they take care of him every Saturday. Love to see it. Spread the wealth. because we know we have a tendency to give all of the praise as well as the critiques to our quarterbacks when things don't work out. It's very easy to run straight to the quarterback and say, you messed up, or you didn't do enough, or what was that? Or, Tua last night before being injured is a great example of that. There were a lot of moments where I'm like, WTF, Tua. The linemen at the end of the day are a crucial part to a quarterback's play, and a quarterback's success as well. So love seeing him kind of spread the wealth. He could take that all for himself. I'm sure many quarterbacks would have, but he decided, no, let me protect the people that protect me every week. And I absolutely love it. Christian McCaffrey. And you're probably thinking, Liv, why are we talking about Christian McCaffrey? He's injured. He screwed my fantasy this week, whatever it may be. Well, Christian McCaffrey starred. Not only is he one of one, Denver native, okay, went to Valor Christian High School, freaking rock star, arguably one of the best in the league right now as it pertains to running backs. He probably is, although James Cook's performance last night was pretty solid. Christian McCaffrey is that guy, okay? And we know that. But he starred in the most ads of any current or former player or coach aired during nationally broadcasted games in week 1. I mean, let's cut to the chase here. Christian McCaffrey, he's a solid football player. He's pretty liked by the public, right? He carries himself very well. He speaks very well in terms of kind of his off-field behavior. He's very admirable. Many women would say he's a good-looking guy. So yeah, put him on the TV screen. No harm, no foul. We've seen other players featured in some commercials as of late. Travis Kelce, which no surprise, he's getting a lot of attention lately. Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, and more. But Christian McCaffrey is doing numbers, historic numbers in terms of being starred in these commercials during these nationally televised games. He's going to make history in more ways than one this season once we can get him back and healthy. I'm sure of it. Christian McCaffrey is one of one. Shannon Sharpe. Now, you're probably thinking, Liv, woo, la, 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 don't want to hear it. Well, Shannon Sharpe, if you didn't know, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Shannon Sharpe went live by accident on his Instagram. And you're probably thinking, oh, crap, was he talking badly about someone? Was he saying something about his co-hosts, or was he saying something about his employers? No, he was not. I wish he was doing that. Instead, he was going to Funky Town with one of his friends, his female friends. And you know what? That is none of my business. But it actually became everybody's business, unfortunately, when he went Instagram Live and everybody got to tune in to his extracurricular activities. Well, didn't want to hear that, didn't want to be involved in that. But unfortunately, Shannon Sharpe, Uncle Sharpe made it everybody's business. Unfortunately, something that is meant to be very, very private became very, very public very, very quickly. And I think a lot of the questions were, how is this going to affect his career? And he did take to his podcast to express his embarrassment and lack of professionalism. And he felt horrible. And at the end of the day, he's a human being. He made a mistake. And what he did is not illegal. Okay. He was doing his extracurricular activity that I think a lot of adults do. And unfortunately, he just did it on a public forum, which not great. Nobody really likes that, especially when you are in a position of power and professionalism. Not ideal, I can imagine. Not ideal. However, many people were concerned about, what does this mean for Shannon Sharpe's ESPN career? He just got hired doing full-time broadcasting. He's got his podcast. He will still co-host First Take as usual on Monday. ESPN told Front Office Sports that this is not affecting his job come Monday. We will still see him co-hosting First Take. We also saw, I'm sure there might be some frustration across the board of, is Uncle Sharpe being held to the same standard as the rest? At the end of the day, you guys, like I said, he didn't commit a crime. Was it an uncomfortable moment? Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was uncomfortable for me, and it wasn't even my Instagram. I was uncomfortable listening and watching. There wasn't anything to watch. It was all audio, if you didn't know. But still, nonetheless, very intimate moment that became very public. It happens. Instagram, this phone, you got to be careful sometimes, you guys. So I'm glad that he is not getting punished for this in any way. I think the punishment is the embarrassment piece of it. That is enough. And we move on. There you go. WNBA games. We've talked about this many, many, many times right here on Guerrilla Sports Daily, about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being kind of these pioneers in getting these eyeballs on this sport and driving up numbers from a media perspective, as well as filling seats in the arenas, as well as driving up revenue because people are buying tickets and watching these games. But WNBA games averaged 1.2 million viewers on ESPN this season. Its most watched regular season ever. We knew this was coming. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get bigger, especially when you've got these college athletes that are getting NIL deals. They're making a brand and a name for themselves before they even get to the highest level of their sport. They're already building their personal brands. People are already falling in love with them on the college level. And then you get them on the professional level and they're bringing their fan base with them. This is going to continue to be a really great thing for the WNBA. We know that NIL deals, while I do think there's some concerns about what does this mean for the passion of the sport, you do have a lot of people that I think that in a lot of ways, it's a very beneficial thing. It's very positive. These fan bases will follow their favorite player wherever they go. And in turn, the WNBA will continue to grow. So really cool to see a historic amount of viewers on the regular season for the WNBA. It's only going to get better when we get into the playoffs and all of those sort of things. Okay, moving on to college football. The Pac-12 is clawing back. What does that mean, Liv? Well, the two-member conference, itty bitty little conference, okay, will officially add 4 Mountain West schools in 2026. All right, we've got Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, hello CSU, and Fresno State. Okay, 2 more members within the next 2 years would maintain FBS status. So we got to find more members, 2 more members to join the Pac-12, all right? But we do have, like I said, Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, Fresno State. State. Love it. The Pac-12 scheduling partnership mandates that the conference needs to pay $43 million to the Mountain West for its 4 new members. Ouch, that's a lot of money, according to a copy of the agreement previously obtained by Front Office Sports. So pay up, Pac-12. Got to pay up to those Mountain West, to that Mountain West schools for the addition of those 4 new schools. The 4 schools themselves will be responsible for exit fees. Ooh. You know what? I actually feel like we're entering an era where it costs money to breathe. You have to pay for everything nowadays. There's nothing in this life that is free. Nothing. Not one thing. So there's going to be some money exchanged in this process, but the Pac-12 is growing. They've got to find 2 more members over the next 2 years to maintain their FBS status. However, they are growing. They went from 2 and they just added 4. So we're getting somewhere, but we got to have 2 more. As you guys know, the college football, it's funny because I pulled a t-shirt. When I first moved into this home, I was unpacking all the millions of shirts. If you work in sports, you understand this more than most people. The amount of flipping t-shirts I have from every event that I've helped co-host, every company I've worked for, every whatever. I have so many effing t-shirts. I actually don't know what to do with them. I should turn it into like a giant blanket. You know how people cut them up and make them into a blanket? I should do that because the amount of t-shirts that I have is unbelievable. But it's so funny because I pulled out this old t-shirt from a Big 12 tournament, basketball tournament that I danced at, and it was the OG, what I know to be the OG Big 12 conference. And I was like, damn, this might be worth something someday because this Big 12 conference doesn't look anything like this anymore. You know, it was the typical UT Oklahoma being dominant. And then in basketball, of course, it was KU, and Kansas State started to get sneaky good at sports in there, and Iowa. And who else do we have in there? Oklahoma State. Jeez, Olivia, spit it out. Oklahoma State. Who else was in there? Yeah, it was both Kansas State and Kansas, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Iowa, West Virginia, Kansas. I already said Kansas. Texas, I'm sorry, Texas Tech. Olivia, are you okay? No, maybe I just need more coffee. I don't know what the hell that was about, but I think I got most of them. TCU, Baylor. Was that it? I think that was it for the Big 12 t-shirt that I had. A lot of Texas schools, couple Oklahoma schools, couple of Kansas schools. We threw Iowa in there, and then West Virginia. which has never made sense to me because playing in West Virginia for these athletes and then vice versa got to be miserable. I have family in West Virginia. My brother went to West Virginia. It's not an easy trek out there. So I understand the changes that are happening in all of these college conferences because honestly, geographically, many times it doesn't make sense to me how we had it in the past. So, more changes to come. Excited to see our very own, though, Colorado State joining the Pac 12. Good for them. And like I said, CU versus CSU, you guys. Woo wee! Rocky Mountain Showdown. I might be taking myself over to that game. And if I do, trust when I say I will have sights, sounds, and some instant reactions happening over there because this is going to be something. And CSU coming forward and saying, we're going to murder these guys. Whoa. If you don't murder them, I'm scared for you. And you're probably going to have a Rolex in your face. So just prepare yourself for that. This game might be kind of chippy. And if you remember, it was last year and it was a slugfest and it was down to the wire. And I believe it even went into overtime and it was madness. It was a madhouse. So I'm hoping for the same thing. We love a good Rocky Mountain Showdown. If you're from Colorado, this is just one of those games that I don't even have ties to CSU or to CU. Quite frankly, I don't have a big draw to those schools besides the fact that I just live in Colorado and love seeing Colorado represent, of course. But I don't have any connections to that school. That's not where I went to school. But the Rocky Mountain Showdown, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. And last year, of course, when Coach Prime brought all this attention to CSU's like, blah, 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 we don't care. Oh my gosh, we do not care about all this hoopla. And they put on a show, man. I think everybody expected Shadur and Travis Hunter and company to go in there and just flip and tear it up. And they did, but so did CSU. CSU kind of put themselves on the map in a few ways in that game last year. Whoa, looking pretty good. So what will we get this year? I don't know. I'm going to talk to Nate Jackson and BK about it and say, fellas, what are we thinking for this game? What are we thinking? Do we think this is a great bounce back spot for CU coming off of a pretty brutal L to Nebraska? Or do we think CSU didn't forget about last year and all the hoopla and all the this and the that, and they're out for blood? Maybe that too. I don't know. It's going to be great, though. It's going to be really great. And then, of course, we've got the Broncos on Sunday. So help us all. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Listen, I have a feeling, if he's not here already, that the moment TJ Watt lands in Denver, I will feel it. The hairs will stand up on my body. I'll probably have a shiver or two. And I will just get this overwhelming, sick knot in my stomach that things are about to get bad quickly. So, TJ, if you're not here yet, maybe don't come. Maybe don't come. I think your team can do it without you. And honestly, I fear for Bo Nix this weekend. I fear for him because TJ Watt, something is different about that guy. Something is very different. And while I respect his game greatly, and I also love and always have loved Mike Tomlin, I can't let him do damage to my Broncos the way I think that he might. I just can't. So we have lots to talk about. All of that to say, we have lots to talk about. I'm going to talk about it with Nate Jackson and BK here in just 40 minutes live at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We're all going to be from our home studios today. Like I said, we've got some really cool things happening over at Guerilla. Guerilla is going to the moon, you guys. And if you're not on board with us, if you're not joining us, then what are you doing? What are you doing? We've got really cool stuff happening. We've got the Nuggets season is right around the corner. October 22nd, we've got the start of the season for the NBA. I don't know the NHL date off the top of my head because I'm not a hockey girl, but I know it's not too far away, okay? We've got 3 NHL reporters basically getting you guys the ins and the outs of the hockey season and delivering badass content for you on that front. And oh, how could I forget? We Are the Harrises, our newest show that is joining Guerilla Sports that's got Chris Harris Jr., Ryan Harris, and Shelby Harris, a current NFL player, 2 former Super Bowl champions, all have played for the Denver Broncos and are all joined together now to talk about football. And I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better than that. So very excited about the addition of that new show. I think that is going to be fantastic. And chat, Thanks for being here. I'm just now seeing what's up, KT. I'm going to give you a little shout out. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so much for being here. And yeah, you guys, I think that's about it for Guerrilla Sports Daily today with your host Liv Moods. Like I said, we do this every week. And I'll be taking over on Fridays and filling in wherever else I'm needed. But of course, I'll be here every Friday because then we'll jump right into our change schedule for off field, which is now 11 a.m. And so, yeah, give us about 30 minutes, you guys, and we'll be firing up another live here for our off-field show, Liv Moods hosting with Nate Jackson and BK. And then at 1 p.m., don't go anywhere. You can't go away so quickly. 1 p.m., we've got our off-ice show covering the Avs and all things NHL. JJ, Jesse, and Megan. What a combo. So don't go anywhere. We've got Guerrilla Sports content coming to you all weekend long. I've also had some really cool ideas with our social gal. Got to give a shout out to Chloe. Chloe works her absolute butt off running our social pages. She's a flipping rock star. Her and I have been talking about some fun little videos to put out there this weekend in regards to the Broncos playing CU, CSU, Rocky Mountain Showdown. So we've got a lot of content coming your way. Make sure you're tuning in to all things Guerrilla Sports. All of our beat shows have their own page. So if you're like, Liv, I only really like hockey. Don't worry, we've got you. I'm only really a basketball person. Don't worry, I got you. But I will challenge you. Step out of your comfort zone a little bit because I tune in to Jesse and JJ and Megan here and there, and I learn a lot. And I'm starting to think maybe I need to be a little more tuned in to Colorado Avalanche content and games in the regular season. So make sure you're tuning into All Things. We're on YouTube. We're on All Things Social. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Much love. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful, blessed, and safe weekend. And we will catch you right here again at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Monday for another Guerrilla Sports Daily. See ya.